1/3 of the world's population, including you. The brain may have been controlled by a parasite. I'm not trying to scare you. It's true. This parasite is called Toxoplasma gondii. It will make the mouse not afraid of the cat, let the chimpanzee actively approach the leopard, and in humans infected people are more likely to get into car accidents. 50% increased the risk of schizophrenia. And here's what's even weirder. There are studies that find men infected with this parasite. I actually feel the smell of cat urine smells better than an uninfected person. You heard right, smells better. But that's not the scariest part. In the rainforest, there's a fungus. Can turn ants into real zombies. Mind control. He walks to the appointed place, bite out a leaf, then a mushroom pops out of the head. Let's talk today. It's a cold topic. How do parasites control the host brain? And how likely are you and I to have already been hit? Let's talk about the zombie ant first. In the rainforest of Thailand, there is a species of ant called the baobab ant. They live high in the canopy, basically not down to the ground, but sometimes the gaps between the branches are too large. They were forced to go for a walk. This is the trip to the ground. Kill them. There is a fungus on the ground called cordyceps. Just wait for the rabbit. Once the ant touches his bun, the buns will be pinched on the ants, then use coal to melt a small hole in the shell. Get in. From this moment on, the ants are no longer their own. Next week, infected ants look completely normal. Work. The companions can't find anything unusual either, but the fungus was growing inside him like crazy. Take over slowly. Then one day, ants suddenly leave the nest, walk down the tree, climb to the back of a leaf of a plant near the ground, bite the veins in one bite, never let go, and then he died. A few days later, a slender fungal stalk grew out of his head. At the top is a bun sac. Start spraying spores around. The ant passing by was hit by the bun. A new round of infections begins. The creepiest part of this process is that where ants bite leaves, precision is outrageous. Scientists have discovered 98% of zombie ants bite on leaf veins. Almost all choose the northern side of the plant. The leaves are exactly 25 centimeters from the ground. The surrounding humidity is between 94% and 95%. The temperature is between 20 and 30 degrees. Each parameter are the optimum conditions for the growth of this fungus. The ant is like a programmed robot, and it delivered it precisely where he wanted to go. How does the fungus do it? How does he control the ant brain? Scientists thought so too at first. I think the fungus must have infected the ant's brain when they used a laser scanning microscope when examining the brains of infected ants, and found a completely unexpected result. The fungus doesn't get into the brain at all. Fungal cells are densely packed around the outside of the brain, but the inside of the brain is clean, not a single fungal cell. So how does he control the ants? The answer lies in the muscles of ants. Scientists have discovered that fungal cells into the ant's leg and between the muscle fibers of the head, and these cells are connected to each other through thin tubes. It forms a network all over the body. The fungus is not controlling the brain. Instead, it directly takes over the muscle. What does that mean? The ant's brain may be fully awake. He knows what happened, but he can't control his body. He is a prisoner trapped in his own shell, watching myself die, but can't do anything. This picture is better than any horror movie. Scary. You might think that only happens to ants, right? Too far from us. Then let me tell you the story of the snail. There is a parasite called trematode. It goes into the eye stalks of the snail, the two tentacles on the head of the snail, and it wriggles inside. Hold the eye stalks thick and bright. It looks like a fat caterpillar dancing. Here we go. The parasite controls the snail to crawl into the open. Let the two dancing petioles be exposed to the sun. The bird saw it. I thought it was a bug flying over. Peck off the petiole in one bite. Eat the parasite and get into the bird's body. Complete reproduction. The eggs are excreted in the feces, eaten by other snails. The cycle continues. The snail has no eyes, but still alive. Continue to be the lure's moving billboard. There is also an emerald cockroach wasp specializing in cockroaches. It will stab the roach's brain with a poisonous stinger. It precisely destroys the roach's locomotion controlling nerves. Cockroaches don't die, but it can't act autonomously anymore. Then the wasp is like walking a dog. Pull the cockroach's tentacles, bring it back to its lair, lay eggs on it. Cockroaches will live eaten from the inside by wasp larvae, and this is all in insects. And what about mammals? Can more complex organisms be controlled? And the answer is yes. And the answer concerns you. Toxoplasma gondii. I mentioned at the beginning that parasite can infect any warm-blooded animal, but it can only breed in cats, so he needs to find a way to get the host to be eaten by the cat. In mice, Toxoplasma gondii strategy is simple and crude. Let mice be afraid of cats. Normal mice will run as fast as they can when they smell cat urine, but mice infected with Toxoplasma gondii not only didn't run, instead, they will take the initiative to smell it and stay longer. This behavior makes them more Susceptible to being scratched by cats. Toxoplasma gondii can get in reproduction is complete in cat. Scientists in chimpanzees. A similar phenomenon was also found. Chimpanzees not infected with Toxoplasma gondii will try to avoid the smell of boss urine, but infected chimpanzees will actively explore instead. I don't seem so scared anymore, so here's the problem. Humans? 1/3 of the world's population is infected with Toxoplasma gondii. The route of infection is usually eating undercooked, contaminated meat or contact with infected cat feces. After the parasite enters the human body, will be in various organizations, including the brain. Sometimes it's a lifetime before scientists believe that this infection is basically harmless to humans, but recent research has changed their minds. The 2002 study found that you're more likely to have Toxoplasma gondii in people who've been in car accidents. Scientists speculate this parasite may have slowed down a person's reaction time like he did to the mouse. Later studies were even more outrageous. Men infected with Toxoplasma gondii feel diluted cat urine smells better than uninfected people. It gets worse. What did the Copenhagen study find? The probability of an infected person being diagnosed with schizophrenia 50% higher than the uninfected. Behind this, there may be a reason why it's scary to think about. Domestic cats are the main hosts of Toxoplasma gondii, but domestic cats have only been domesticated for 9,000 years. Millions of years earlier, the host of Toxoplasma gondii may be larger cats like a leopard. Leopards are one of the main natural enemies of human ancestors. Leopards are particularly adept at hunting primates. They are stealthy and fast, can climb trees. But even today, leopards are still 70% non-cause of death. Half their food, it's either monkeys or chimpanzees. So in the long history of evolution, the hookworm may have evolved a set of the mechanisms that control the primate brain, make it easier for our ancestors to be eaten by leopards, and this mechanism, it's still running in us today. It's just that the host has changed from a leopard to a house cat, and we are no longer cat food, but those effects slow the response. Feeling less bothered by the smell of cats, the change in mental state may still be present. What does that mean? It means you have a 1/3 chance at this moment. There lives in my head. A million years ago, parasites used to get you eaten by leopards. He may be using some kind of in ways you can't perceive at all. Subtle influences your decisions and your emotions, your reaction. You think every thought you have is your own, but is it really? Think about that zombie ant. Its brain is awake, but the body doesn't obey. The difference between us and them, maybe it's just a different degree. Next time you make a strange decision, for example, you are still swiping your phone when it is time to go to bed. I know the danger, but I can't help but do it. You can ask yourself, this is really what I thought, or is there something pushing me in that direction? The answer to this question, it's a lot more complicated than you think.